A few weeks ago, Dr. Arruda, you were talking about how fragile the situation was in Montreal. And now you're proceeding with more and more deconfinements. Is it possible that you're going too fast?
Everything is possible, you know. In fact, what I would say, which good news, is that the transmission in Montreal is going down. We are not seeing R0 going near 1. It's still going down. It's the same place, same thing elsewhere. I think that the seasonality is helping us, which means that probably this virus is going to be less active during this period. So it's the time probably to deconfine, to let people get some strength, some energy from outside. And we are not seeing, even if we deconfine a lot, any signs of things. But I hope, and I think this is also part of the percentage of good Quebecers and everybody in Quebec, which are trying to keep the 1-2 meters distance in between them. I know some didn't. We know that we had some, I would say, meetings or big assemblies and manifestations in Montreal, and we didn't have seen 15 days or even 3 weeks after the impact of this, which is good news. There was people who were using covering masks. So I think if we keep that, we probably will be deconfining at the right period, because making it too long, already there is people getting crazy because they are not deconfined yet. Making it too long till September, and then in September it's coming back, it will be not the confinement at all. So I think things are going, but as I always told, what I say today can be the other thing tomorrow morning if there is new indication. It's why let's be together in a team to have a good summer, respect rules, do sports, make people walk a little bit more, and then we're going to be able to say we're going to go through this summer in the right way and be more prepared, energetic for the next wave.
Doing sports in gyms, pools and rinks, people will have the strong impression that life is back to normal again. And then how are you going to make sure that the rules are respected, everything is operating safely when you consider that there will be contacts between trainers, athletes, between friends. We'll be maybe like 10 in a corridor when we swim. So I'm not sure how you'll make sure that rules are respected. You know exactly what's going on when we do sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I have to put the emphasis on the work that's been done with every federation, sports federation or leisure federation, that did. In practice, we have faith that the organization will apply the rules and the participant will apply the rules, because it's like we said, for kids, for instance, we see that they've been adapting very well to all the rules they have in school, and they reproduce those rules when they are in a sport context. So again, for everybody, in order to make sure that we're not going to go back in a confinement situation, we have to apply those rules. So that's why we have faith that people will apply those rules. And again, the organization have demanded to make sure that their members and their participants do apply those rules. So I'm pretty confident that it will be applied, that the sanitary measures are going to be respected, that the owners of the venues are going to apply those rules as well. So I think we do have to have faith in people, because we have to go back in a certain normality, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to be applied.
But just if I can mention, please, there has been a tremendous work for weeks between the federations, this nest, because they have the responsibility to not put their employees in a bad situation, and then nobody wants to be the first perspective of an outbreak coming back with COVID-19. So I think the trust is very important. There is risks, and I think that the population must participate too. I'm more afraid of what the population is going to do, not because no federation wants to lose their reputation and be a source of a problem. It's very important, the trust that we have in between us. Even from me with the population, people must trust me. If they don't trust me anymore, my message will not be applied. So I think it's very important, and I think we all have a responsibility. We all have to respect the 2 meters. I know the temptation will be so great to be all the parents. I'm not afraid of the sport, really. I'm more afraid of the people around that don't respect that. But I think that they will make sure there's going to be hand hygiene. The athletes don't want to get sick. Hopefully kids are doing a great job. So let's have truth on this. Let's be together. And also, if you notice there is a problem in one place, just notify it. There is SNES who will do their work. So I think this is a common responsibility. And I want to thank the ones who have been very creative and adapt. And it's great. Kids adapt the new way of playing. They are not on their 50 years of practicing that sport. They adapt it. So it's a new way of doing business. And trust is so important. Trust is so important. But I don't want to be the bad guy who says no every time. But we can say yes. That's the time to say yes. But at the same time, it's a yes, but.
Hi. Mrs. Charret, what exactly will be the measures that gyms need to take once they reopen? Like, will there be a limit of people inside? What is the access to the changing rooms?
Yeah, there's actually a limit of 50 people in venues. Again, there's a guide that's been provided by CNE SST. Yeah, and that says what kind of measure they have to apply to make sure that the sanitary aspect is taken care of. So it's when somebody uses equipment, they have to sanitize the equipment afterwards. They have to respect the 2 meters. If they cannot respect the 2 meters, they can have plexiglass or adapt their equipment. So those are the kinds of adaptation that they need to take into account in order to be safe.
What is the risk of contracting COVID-19 at a gym compared to other indoor spaces activities?
The risk will depend of different conditions. The question is interesting, but I should compare exactly 2 things. In a gym, that's people coming from. If you are an indoor facility with your own family, you know who is coming there. If you are in a place where there is different person coming from different spaces, that's the thing. And when you do gym, there is the issue of hygiene. There is the issue that you are touching a lot with your hands, you're touching your face, you're exercising. You are not having a mask when you exercise because it's not a right way, but you can sneeze and then you can contaminate that space. Somebody else is going to use that same exercise next 5 minutes from you. So there is the risk of disinfection, which is not there actually. But all the gyms now, with less than 50%, with keeping the 2 meters distanciation in between the things, putting some, if needed, some screens of plexiglass, and augmenting hygiene, trying to have not much persons in the vestiaire or taking the showers and everything and the sanitary, are measures that are going to be taken place.
And the last question from Raquel. It will be difficult to wear a face covering at a gym during a workout. So does that add another element of risk? How should Quebecers evaluate whether or not to return to their gym?
I think that, first of all, everybody could evaluate their own capacity based on their condition. If you are a person with chronic disease or immunosuppression or, with cancer, perhaps it's better to do your gym at home than going to those places. So this is something you can manage. It's clear that when you put in your mask and you're doing exercising in a tapis roulant or walking, the mask will be an obstruction to oxygen, and we don't want them that to be done. If your symptoms don't go, so it's based on your own evaluation. There's going to have to have hand hygiene. There's going to have to be disinfection in between the use. There's going to have to some plexiglass. So you will be based on your need to do gym and the benefits of that and the risk. What is your evaluation? But everything has been authorized in the perspective of minimizing the risks. And I hope that even if you are not putting the mask during your exercise, when you're going to go out or you're going to go to go to the site or being outside, use a cover mask because that will help lower the transmission. Highly recommended with hand hygiene and distanciation.